The Allies of Humanity, Book 2, by Marshall V. Summers. Sixth Briefing. A Call to Action. It has been our mission to observe the alien intervention in the world today and to provide to you our commentaries and our perspective. It is a difficult task and a difficult message. We understand the problems that people may have in receiving this communication. They may question the method of communicating. They may question, certainly, our reality and identity and the trustworthiness of our words. They may question the reality that we are presenting. And the temptation to deny these things will perhaps be great for some people. Yet what will really enable you to hear our words and to know their authenticity will be your ability to respond with the deeper knowing within yourself. Throughout our discourses, we have referred to the reality of knowledge, the spiritual intelligence that lives within you. We have spoken of its central importance in your preparation for the greater community. We have spoken of it as the true power that enables you to see beyond all the deceptions and manipulations of the intervention. We have spoken of it as the inherent power that the collectives do not use and do not recognize. It is not like a military power. It is not something that you can use to gain things by force or to overwhelm or dominate others. It is the greater intelligence that you share with the Creator. Though humanity has a great challenge before it and is facing a great risk in its emergence into the greater community, it is also necessary to find the strength that will enable you to unite your peoples and to take your place in the greater community as a free and self-determined race. This power must come from within people and must be reinforced by the greater forces for good that exist both within your world and in the greater community. There will perhaps be people who will reject our words and counsel and reject what we are presenting altogether. They have their own preferences in the matter. They have their own fear and sense of inadequacy. Perhaps they have fallen prey already to the persuasions of the intervention and do not wish to consider that they may be in error. Perhaps they are just too afraid to face this great challenge. Perhaps they want to escape into their personal concerns and preoccupations. But what is really being called for here is the power and the presence of this spiritual intelligence we call knowledge, which is the source of your real conscience. Yet what you may not realize is that this is the very source and bond of all spirituality in the universe. The expressions of spirituality and the rituals of spirituality, the great teachers and emissaries of spirituality, are too numerous to count in the universe. The philosophies and the methodologies are unique to cultures and their histories. But at the center is this mysterious and profound power that enables you to see, to know, and to act in harmony with the Creator of all life. Surely our presence and our words can be rejected and denied. But with knowledge, this will not be the case. For we are certain that we are presenting the truth to the best of our ability, and your allies abroad have sent us here on a mission in great service to humanity. The integrity, then, of our mission and of our presentation is real and genuine. It is not merely a matter of perspective or perception. Therefore, we must rely upon this spiritual power within you, the reader and the receiver of our message. For indeed, we are revealing more than our words can convey. We are revealing an entire reality of life in the universe. We are opening the door to the great mysteries that humanity has not yet penetrated, and in some cases has not even considered. Though we are very different from you, and though we practice our spirituality in ways that are unique to us and that you could not really accommodate, what we emphasize is absolutely fundamental to your being and to your nature and to your reality. Knowledge is not simply a great potential that lives within you. It is the most vital element that can secure your freedom and maintain it, both now and in the future. There is the freedom to live according to your conscience, and then there is the freedom to find knowledge within yourself. Unless you have the first, it will be much more difficult to find the second. First, you must survive and remain free, and then the opportunity is there for you to gain access to the greater intelligence that lives within you and which gives you insight into the reality and the meaning of life in the universe. This gives you great promise, and we must emphasize that which gives you this great promise: knowledge, freedom, strength. These are the things that you must now cultivate. The differences between you will become increasingly less significant, and what will overshadow them is both the greater community, which challenges your essential right to be in the world as a free race, and the reality of knowledge within you, which will seek to unite you and to give you this strength, this wisdom, and this peace. These things are not merely options and are not merely the goal of exceptional individuals. They are the essence of your struggle for freedom. Knowledge will reveal this to you and will confirm our words. Beyond your preferences and beliefs, this is most certainly true, and we have confidence here, for this is where we place our faith, in the essential goodness and potential wisdom that reside in the human family. Otherwise, our great attempt to sound an alarm and to bring a greater community awareness into the world will fail. It will not take effect here. This failure has grave consequences, for humanity does not yet understand its predicament, nor does it understand what it must rely upon in order to achieve success. The Creator wills that humanity be a free race in the universe, but it is up to you. It is up to what you choose to believe in, what you choose to do, what you choose to emphasize. The intervention is very secretive and very clandestine. Only those who have been directly impacted by it, or who have been contacted directly, are aware of its presence, and they are subject to considerable persuasion and manipulation, as we have described. Therefore, who is in a position to really know on their own accord? We provide a perspective that you could not have otherwise. We provide an insight into important realities about life in the greater community that you do not have access to. And we bear witness to those of you who have begun to feel these things already within yourself. We serve as a confirmation of these deeper insights. But the question remains: can you know what you know, and can you follow what you know, and can you respond from this deeper part of yourself and share this with other people? Soon we will have to leave the vicinity of your world, for as the first set of discourses was revealed, the intervention became aware of our presence here and began a thorough and determined search for us. We must escape before this happens, and even here our escape carries with it great dangers to us. Our departure will not go unnoticed, and there will be an attempt to follow us and to find us wherever we go. We cannot return to our home worlds, for that would lead to their discovery. We must seek hiding at a greater distance. From that position, we will not be able to witness the ongoing activities of the intervention. Therefore, in these two sets of discourses, we must provide you everything that you will need to proceed on your own. Yet our assistance as observers is soon to come to an end. Even as we present these words, we are prepared to leave. Therefore, we communicate in great haste with a sense of urgency. Yet we must wonder, who can really hear us and take to heart what we are saying? And who will act upon these words with their own inner conviction? We are not here to lead you or to be leaders for humanity. Humanity must have its own leaders. Yet who will assume this mantle of responsibility? Who will have the inner conviction? Who is strong enough with knowledge to see, to know, and to feel the reality of what we are presenting to the point where they can take action and to begin to speak out against the intervention? We cannot answer these questions. Only you can answer them. We can provide you glimpses into life in the universe and an essential understanding of the nature and activities of the intervention and of those who are intervening here. Yet we cannot answer every question, and indeed it is not answers that you need as much as the inner conviction to see, to know, and to act. Our greatest desire is that we may stimulate this within enough people that a movement will arise to offset the intervention and to demonstrate humanity's displeasure with its uninvited guests. This would be a beneficial beginning, but it is only the beginning, for there must be an awareness of the reality of the greater community, and there must be a sober and profound understanding of what humanity must do to secure its freedom and its well-being in this larger and far more complex arena of intelligent life. It has been our desire not to cast a dark or fearful specter of life in the universe, for indeed there are many marvelous and wondrous creations, and there are many societies that have achieved very high states of awareness. Yet these still remain in the minority of the manifestations of intelligent life throughout this galaxy to the extent that we are aware of, and we have met many others who have seen things that we have never seen. In order for you to enter this new panorama of life, you must have an orientation as to what exists there and what to expect and how you must function and conduct yourself. No one in the world is prepared to give you this counsel, for how could they know? It takes your allies, the allies of humanity, to provide this perspective and this orientation. Otherwise, you will feel alone and so vulnerable, and will lose heart and will capitulate to the persuasion of those who seek to gain control of you and your world. We would like now to say something about the individual who is receiving this communication. Marshall Vion Summers is not simply a man who was unwittingly chosen for a great task. He has been sent into the world for this purpose. He is a man who has been sent with a divine mission to help prepare humanity for its encounters with the greater community, and to represent the greater community teaching in the world, a teaching in the greater community way of knowledge. Many years ago, there was an attempt on our part to reach him directly. He was called to a location in a mountainous area and was prepared for his contact with us. Several members of our party made the dangerous journey into the world, but unfortunately their mission was never completed. Once they were discovered by the intervention, they had to destroy themselves and their craft, leaving no evidence behind of our presence in the world. This marked a great failure, and the loss of 4 very precious individuals. There are only 5 of us left now, and we again are facing great danger. The preparation for our contact with this individual has been long and with many delays. First, he had to become the receiver for the greater community teaching. He had to become its first student. Then he had to take a position from which he could represent this new threshold of understanding for humanity. Certain people were called to assist him, not all of whom were able to do so. Many of these delays, which were largely beyond his control, have delayed our presentation. This is why we are late in giving you our discourses and our briefings. It has been a very great challenge for this individual to receive and to accept such a responsibility. He did not ask for it, yet he is born with it. And with all the delays, the chance for success has become more of a concern to us. That is why at this time we must speak with great emphasis, and we must repeat our essential message so that we can be sure that it is being heard and understood. Every month and every year now is precious. Every month and every year that humanity remains unprepared for the greater community, the situation becomes more difficult and more grave. We have had to move twice in our position here in your solar system. We cannot tell you more, for we do not wish to give evidence of our presence to your emissaries. In our own histories, for those of us who remain, it was equally difficult to present a very similar message to our own cultures. We were met with disbelief, ridicule, shock. The idea that our worlds could be intervened by forces who were not friendly to us was something that our races were totally unprepared for. We believed, as do you, living in a state of isolation, that we were privileged and had the graces of the divine powers. We could only assume that the initial visitations, which were carried out as secretly as they are in your world, were for a greater benefit. That was our assumption. It was only when a group such as ourselves met and counseled certain individuals in our respective worlds, in order to deliver a warning and an awareness, that a real preparation could begin. Yet we must remain emphatic in our emphasis that there is still time for humanity to offset and stop the intervention. However, for this to happen, this individual must be recognized and assisted. You must speak out yourself on behalf of this message that we are giving, and you must assist him in speaking on behalf of it. He has very little support in the world. There are great obstacles. The intervention is aware of him, and even at this moment is seeking to thwart him. This message that we are conveying to you has been entrusted to this individual to deliver to you in a pure form, as pure a form as can be achieved. We have confidence that he has been able to do this. He has also been given the greater community teaching, which is the only preparation in the world to prepare people in a greater community way of knowledge. We are very honored to be able to present this information, and we regret the many delays that have prevented us from giving it an earlier time. We are working against powerful forces, and we must await the readiness of those who can receive us and who can plant the seeds that we are presenting here in these discourses. We have imparted that which we feel is essential for your well-being and your survival. We have left out many other things that you would perhaps find very fascinating, but which are not central to your need. We have been very concerned not to cloud the essential issue with non-essential details, and indeed too many details simply make our communication seem more inexplicable. We speak on behalf of your allies, who are substantial and represent many races. All 9 of us have come from different worlds, and yet we share the same mission because we are strong with knowledge. We want for humanity what we want for ourselves, which is freedom from intrusion, self-sufficiency, creativity, and life without conflict and war. The right to be in life in order to achieve a higher purpose and respond to a higher calling that the Creator has provided to all as a potential, that is what we seek to affirm for ourselves and for the human family. Yet, as is true in your world, there are powerful forces and persuasions that stand in the way of this discovery and achievement. And so we work behind the scenes to advocate for freedom and knowledge in all sentient beings, even in the collectives, even in empires that are aggressive and destructive, even in individuals who are unscrupulous and devious. We are aware of many races in the universe who demonstrate knowledge and the lack of knowledge. You will have the opportunity to learn about these things in the future if you can secure your freedom now. Humanity is but at the beginning of its greater accomplishments. Yet its current recklessness, its tribal conflicts, and its environmental degradation all threaten the possibility that you will have the chance to achieve a greater state of life for your people. The intervention seems now as a rude intrusion in an already difficult situation. But as so often is the case, the great demonstrations of nature prove to be redemptive if they can be recognized and utilized accordingly and appropriately. That which seems to overshadow humanity is the one thing that can unite humanity and bring an end to tribal conflict. For every person in the world must learn the truth about the greater community and about the intervention in the world. They must learn about it before it fulfills its occupation. Any advancement in this regard is a blessing. Any failure in this regard hurts all life in your world. Though one individual has been given the burden and the privilege of bringing our message into the world and to receive the greater community teaching, it will be up to many, many people in many cultures to share this understanding and this preparation and to translate it into many different languages in your world. The need for freedom and the desire for freedom are universal. And essentially our message and the way of knowledge are about freedom. The freedom to live freely in your own world without bondage to another race, without intrusion or intervention from another race, and the freedom to find knowledge and to fulfill yourself in your great journey here in physical life. It is all about freedom. When the religious leaders of the world and the political leaders of the world recognize that they have a fundamental common interest and common mission to defend the human family, then they can bring all of their assets to bear in this regard. This will largely overshadow their disagreements and their hostilities towards one another. The question then for you is, are you free to know these things that we are speaking of? Are you free to respond? Are you free to speak out against the intervention? The teaching in freedom starts right now. This is the first step. This is not a time for ambivalence or complacency. This is not a time to simply project one's grievances and distrust upon the world. To the extent that humanity is divided and unaware of life beyond its borders, it is vulnerable and without real security. Your opposition to one another is misplaced. You have no defense against the outside. Should you successfully defend your right to be the preeminent race in this world, and to live with freedom, and to cultivate freedom within the human family and within human societies, then you will have the opportunity to meet and to know your allies. That will be a great revelation for you. In the meantime, there is great work to be done, and everyone has the possibility to do this great work.